We're back. The best of food and wine with Anthony Gismondi and Kasey Wilson, live from the Wines of Canada stage at the 2017 Vancouver International Wine Festival. Now, here's Tony and Kasey.
Bang, bang into the room. I know you want it. Bang, bang all over you. I'll let you have it.
Welcome back to the best of food and wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
And the marathon's coming to the end, and one of the biggest names here. He probably didn't know that on his way in. Well, he is a big name, but he would be so well received, is joining us. And we're very happy that Benoit Deslauriers is here from Benjamin Bridge, Nova Scotia. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Anthony. It's a real pleasure to be here.
And he never stops talking about Benjamin Bridge. And
Take a breath.
I have not been to Nova Scotia. I've been in other parts of Atlantic Canada. So I'm very happy to meet you.
Well, it is my pleasure.
Immense Wines. Have you been enjoying Vancouver?
Oh, yeah. The reception has been great. And I feel the appetite and the curiosity. People came to all the Nova Scotia booth and expressed, a lot of interest, a lot of enthusiasm.
Curiosity, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I hear you're opening a small winery in the Okanagan next year.
Yes.
Why not? You should have one in every province, actually.
Yeah, an outpost. Yeah,
an outpost, exactly. You've got a very special place. You did a great job of describing it. We don't have that much time, but I would love to hear a bit about the Bay of Fundy and your winery and how it all coexists.
Well, there's a general principle that goes as such. Greatness, like in wine, is usually at the edge of possibilities. And if that proposition is true, it makes a lot of sense, to try to push the boundaries and try to grow grapes in regions and areas that may be a bit surprising. And I don't think that there's a greater surprise factor than with Nova Scotia. Most Canadians are going to be really surprised.
Exactly.
It's not a stereotypical growing environment, nor is it a stereotypical proposition. Mm-hmm. And that makes a lot of sense. We were all surprised at one point in time that there's a growing environment there. It's not a jack-of-all-trade wine region, and there's a very linear logic. It's very unlikely that we're going to be able to do a little bit of everything at a high level. So a highly specialized growing environment to start with should translate into a highly specialized portfolio of products, and that's what you see from all the Nova Scotia wineries here: traditional method sparkling wines, aromatic whites that are bright and crisp. And we owe our uniqueness to the proximity of the Bay of Fundy. And what happens with the Bay of Fundy is it has the highest and strongest tides on the face of the earth. So it's an absolutely unique entity in the natural world to start with. And so that keeps sending cool air as the tides go up and down. Much like if you were to start a fire in the 1700s, right? That movement from the tide, sends cool air in the Annapolis Valley. And so our grapes can ripen in a way that protects the acidity, in unspoiled fashion, so we can extend the growing season, pick for traditional method sparkling a lot later than in warmer climates, and tap into a lot of phenolic maturity, which is the ripeness of all the components of the grapes, skin, seeds, stems.
A little bit like New Zealand, just so long the season and so cool, and you can just have this lovely slow thing happening.
Absolutely.
Grapes are happy.
It would be like comparing a slow cooking process to a microwave.
Yeah. Okay, you did a great job on that. Even less time, but Tidal Bay is another new concept for us in British Columbia.
Yeah, and what's great about Tidal Bay is it's a communal project that involves 12 Nova Scotia wineries that are participating, and it's a style that is a fundamental fit with our growing environment. So we're talking about a white wine. So Tidal Bay is an appellation like the European model. So it refers to a specific product. Unlike VQA, that's an all-inclusive umbrella, Tidal Bay is a specific wine. It's a white wine that's light to medium bodied, with some aromatics, very fresh, crisp, clean, very food-friendly and drinkable.
Wonderful.
I thought this was just a fresh cut apple that I was drinking here.
Yes.
But, such a beautiful, pure wine.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, those are great and great descriptors.
How many people are making a Tidal Bay wine today in Nova Scotia?
About 12 to 15, like depending on the vintages.
Yeah. Cool. Great idea.
And it's also like an embodiment of, like I see some fellow winemakers here, like it's an embodiment of the spirit of collaboration and the connection between the different wineries. We're operating as a unit, as a team, and I think there's no better embodiment of that than Tidal Bay.
Yeah, very cool.
So are locals buying the wine? Have you developed the industry so people are really supporting the local wines in restaurants?
Yes, absolutely. There's a budding tourism industry.
Mm-hmm.
All the inns around Wolfville are full. Like you have to make a reservation for 2018 now.
Wow.
And so,
it didn't used to be that way.
There's a lot of effervescence, no pun intended. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of interest and a lot of attention.
Okay, let's get to the big boy,
yes.
the one that everybody's talking about. You've had so many great write-ups and
yes.
chats about your wine, specifically, I think, from some of the top wine writers around the world, but it's not hard to know why they would do that the moment they taste it. Well, how does it happen there? Is it the Bay?
It is the Bay. I mean,
Yeah.
everything starts with the Bay because that's really allows us to, like keep the grapes on the vine, get that additional hang time. And we had to fight for this bottle. Like we ran out of our traditional method sparkling here long ago. It's all gone at the store. But we kept that one, for you. And so it's a 2010 Brut Reserve. And so what you see is what great sparkling wines are meant to do, which is to combine freshness and richness. So you've got that fundamental natural freshness that comes from our cool climate. But at the same time, because of the phenolic maturity, you've got that richness that is fascinating because one does not come at the expense of the other.
Yeah.
So they are both there at an elevated level, and that's the beauty of all Nova Scotia traditional method sparkling wines.
How many bottles of this can you make in a year there? And what's the tiny magic number?
Well, our production has increased over the years,
Yeah.
and this year we're looking at making close to 60,000 bottles of traditional method sparkling, which is not insignificant.
Not very much, but it's good.
Compared to a champagne house, or maybe like a Prosecco or a Cava house, maybe not, but by Nova Scotia standards, it's definitely a step in the volume direction.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you end up in Nova Scotia?
Oh, well, for the opportunity to participate in the growth and the development of the industry, for sure. I was in Santa Barbara County, and I was presented with the opportunity to participate in the Benjamin Bridge project, and joining the team was the best decision I've ever took.
Yeah.
Wow. And where were you born?
I was born in Shawinigan, Quebec.
Is that right? And then you went down to the U.S.?
I worked in Chile and Santa Barbara County before going to Nova
Shawinigan.
Shawinigan.
Mr. Kretchan, was he not from Shawinigan, or
Yes.
he represented Shawinigan, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really conclude this interview with the Shawinigan handshake.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your physical stamina, because
thanks.
You're like the Forrest Gump of food and wine radio host.
Yeah. Well, we have fun here, and it's been a great week for Canada, and we're so happy you could come on.
Well, my absolute pleasure, and Anthony, we just want to say that, on behalf of everyone, like the entire contingent from Nova Scotia, thank you for being, such an ambassador, but also like a Renaissance wine critic. Like I can't think of anyone that recognized the potential like earlier than you did. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And I'm going to see you anyways because the National Wine Awards are going to be in Nova Scotia shortly in the summertime. We can't wait to get there.
Excellent. Well, I mean, we're looking forward to it. And the entire world, the entire wine community.
Yeah, great.
This is like covering the Super Bowl here.
Yeah, exactly. Benoit Deslauriers. He's had a fantastic week in Vancouver with Benjamin Bridge and all of his colleagues from Nova Scotia. As I say, we'll see you soon in the summer, and thanks so much for coming to Vancouver. Go out and have some fun tonight.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. As you can hear in the background, they're announcing next year's wine festival theme, which we may have coming up shortly.
I think we do.
In our next segment. We'll take a quick break or not. I'm not sure if we're done. Keep going. Okay. We're going to probably have Harry join us, so we'll keep going. Thanks, Jen. Kasey, have you had enough?
No, I could
you
sit here
keep
another
going?
hour.
Yeah.
We've got so many interesting people to talk to.
Now we have some beautiful Benjamin Brut that we can taste
celebrate.
and celebrate with. Yeah, that should be good. Thanks. Well, it's been a long week, and we're ready to go. We're just going to have a few quick words from Harry Hertzeg. Maybe he's going to give us the heads up about next year as well. If we can get him up on the podium here, that would be just fine. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy the sparkling wine. Here comes Harry. We're almost done, Harry. Harry Hertzeg has just joined us. If you heard that racket in the background, it was Harry. You're making a lot of noise over there, Harry. What were you talking about?
First, I had to thank this crazy wine world that shows up in Vancouver each year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we've never had such a large contingent of Maritimers in Ontario.
I know, it's amazing. It's been incredible.
They should come every year, these guys. Maybe they will now.
I'm just looking over at Jillian Main Guy, and
yeah, she's trying to get 6 slots for next year. Good luck. Yeah. Harry, you just made an announcement. Of course, the festival rolls on. There's going to be another year and another country that's going to get a spotlight. Can you tell us who it is?
Not one country.
Not one country.
No.
Okay. That's a good start.
We brought multiple provinces together this year. Let's bring a couple of countries that are, well, they're right next to each other.
I would say Ontario and Nova Scotia are countries, too. It's Canada, you know. We're all little countries.
It amazes me that to have wines from across the country and around the world in one room, in one place, to give the world a chance to taste these Canadian wines and to give Canadians a chance to taste the wines around in the same place and time. I mean,
yes, it's incredible.
So next year we're going to have a bunch of wineries.
Countries.
Okay.
Yes, and the 2 countries are.
I want you to imagine this. Like, just picture the passion, the excitement, the food, the culture, the music of Spain.
Nice. Wow, that is good.
And
Portugal has to be next door. There's only one
side
river
by
between
side.
them. Yeah.
Fantastic.
We'll just go down the Douro to the Duero, and we're good to go.
Wines of the same river.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to both countries. They feel and they look, and they're so different.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that long tradition of fortified wine.
And they just love each other, Spain and Portugal.
I was thinking about that 13th, the issue of in the 13th century. But, hey, you know, it's the 21st century.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
in Vancouver, we bring people together.
That's true. Well, Harry, congratulations. It's been a great year. Huge turnouts. Canada's, they pulled it off. Well, we knew they could. We knew they had the wines. They were actually a little less uncertain than we were probably about their performance, but they've been great.
I've been to wine regions across the country, and you've tasted Canadian wines through your competitions on an annual basis. So, you know, we know. And to give this is what I think is the most important thing. It's not just to bring the wines together, but basically to take all these producers and lock them in town in Vancouver, in this room and in there, and then lock them down for 4 days. They have to talk.
They do.
Exactly.
And they have been.
Great.
I don't know what they've been talking about.
Yeah.
But it's sure going to be interesting in the weeks ahead what comes out of this.
Well, they haven't invited me to dinner, so I know they haven't been talking about me. But there you go. It's been a great week, Harry. Congratulations. And we look forward to next year, Spain and Portugal.
Salud. Obrigado.
Okay, that's it. And the dates, are they a little later?
Could we have them a little later?
Yeah.
Originally they were going to be the first week of February.
Yeah.
Remember, it was wintertime last week.
I know, exactly.
Back at the end of February,
Okay,
where we
great.
belong.
Yep.
Great.
After Valentine's Day, you're going to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah. Let them have their Valentines and then have their
Wine festival dinners.
That's what we're doing.
Thanks, Harry.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks,
That's
Stacey.
it for us. We're wrapping up 3 long days of the best of food and wine. We're going to take a few days off, get our voices back, and maybe our livers cleaned up. We'll be good to go on Thursday night, 6 o'clock on AM 650's Best of Food and Wine. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to all our crew who've done such a fantastic job. Heather, of course, here, who's made us look good. And to Dwayne back in the studio, to Art, to Sarah, and Jacqueline. I know who they are. Thank you very much, Art.
And Stu.
And Stu Ferguson, who laid everything out in such a beautiful fashion. Thanks, folks. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. That's it for me. I'm Tony Gismondi.
And I'm Kasey Wilson, and I love magnums of wine. There's only a couple of problems with a magnum. Too much for one and not enough for two.
Good night, everyone.